2, 1, go. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. How are you all doing? Great to be back doing a transfer show. That's the big thing for me. Really enjoy doing it, and lots and lots to get through, which is fantastic. First of all, let's get you the live comments box up. I know that's important as well. And as I said, there lots to get through because it's a transfer show. First thing I want to talk about is Andreas Pereira. Big fan of him on the United Stand. Really rate him. Would love him to stay at United and be part of the first team. Clearly, that's not going to happen for this season. He needs to get out and get himself a loan deal for sure. Funny, very funny, because apparently there's talk of him going to Fulham. Championship side, for those who don't know much about him. Got your live comments up there, which is great. Yeah, Championship side, if you don't know about it. And Fulham manager wants him. Their data analyst has said no. If ever there's an excuse never to listen to a geek about football, there it is. To be honest, I want him to be better than Championship Pereira. I think if he goes to the Championship and lights it up, Patrick Bamford, players like that have done that. Patrick Bamford, who is he exactly? Scored a lot of goals on loan from Chelsea, from Middlesbrough, and I think somebody else, and isn't getting games in the Premier League. He needs to be playing in the Premier League, Pereira. That's the move I want him, because I think he's good enough to be a United first team player. Januzaj is going to be playing, well, I said yesterday, at least he'll be playing every week for Sunderland. He's probably going to be playing every week until Moyes gets sacked, which is going to be very soon. He's already come out and publicly said we'll be back in relegation. Another clanger from Moyes there, but we move on. James Wilson's gone to Derby. Again, if you're going to a Championship club, James, again, I just think, I said it a few weeks ago, didn't I? Really like James Wilson. He scored those goals a couple of years ago. He's never really got back involved. He's not going to make it at United, unfortunately. Blackett, I think, is gone or is going to go. And Cameron Borthwick-Jackson has gone to Wolves on a season loan, which actually a few of you are a bit disappointed about that. I can understand that. Who's the backup for Luke Shaw, I suppose, is the question. I think it's Daley Blind, which is mad, because Luke Shaw's had a really bad injury. If he gets injured, and we've loaned out Borthwick-Jackson, seriously, who is the backup left back? For me, it has to be Daley Blind, which is odd, because if Daley Blind's your first choice centre back, I think we learnt a massive thing that nobody's really picked up on today. I think we've learned that Blind will not be the first choice centre-back for that long, because if Luke Shaw is left-back and he gets injured, if Blind's your first choice centre-back, you don't shift him across to left-back to cover for Luke Shaw. Doesn't make any sense. So maybe I'm wrong, but it just doesn't make any sense to me that Luke Shaw has had a bad injury. If he gets injured, suspended, whatever, who is our left-back? Borthwick-Jackson would have been my choice. That's not going to happen. I think it's Daley Blind. I personally think Daley Blind's best position is left-back anyway, but if Blind is your number one centre back, just because Shaw gets injured, you can't go, well, let's make do and move Blind across. A centre back is more important than a left back from a defensive point of view. We could recall CBJ, says Cheetah, that's spot on. Darmian can play left back, says Red Devil Thomas. Rojo is a left back as well, says Best of Battle Rep. It's a very good point. You're all making very good points, actually. Chris Johnson, yeah, I think Blind's a fantastic left back. A lot of people mentioning Rojo and Jones. Rojo or Jones as left back, says Mashara. Dear. I wouldn't have left back in the changing rooms in the case of Phil Jones. Old one, but good. But no, I mean, there is a lot coming out about Manchester United at the moment that we're trying to get rid of Rojo and Jones. It sounds like a bad comedy, doesn't it? Rojo and Jones. But I can't see that. And Adam G says it will be Rojo who's the backup left back. You know what? I'd totally forgotten about Rojo. And Dave Poulton says Rojo my arse. I'd totally forgotten about Rojo for a good reason. He's rubbish. I've forgotten about him. It's been quite nice to not think about Marcus Rojo, because he as I say, he doesn't discriminate. He'll get skinned by anybody. That's the bottom line. And I wouldn't trust him in it. But I suppose you're going to struggle if you lose Luke Shaw anyway, aren't you? I think he's having a fantastic season. So I hope Luke Shaw does stay fit. Yeah, Rojo and Jones being rumoured to go. I mean, the story of the show is that there is going to be another signing for Manchester United from Jose Mourinho, which I'll be talking about for the next few minutes. But dealing with those players going out the door, obviously Wilson's gone. I don't think we'll see him ever back in a United shirt. Borthwick-Jackson's got a chance if he has a good season. Pereira's not gone yet. He needs to get a club. I hope it's a Premier League club. Blackett gone and forgotten. Just not good enough. and obviously Yamasai's out on loan. So, and we got rid of McNair and Love. I mean, to be honest, I still think we haven't got rid of the first teamer, you know, the experienced first teamers that we need to get rid of. Whether we will do or not, I mean, Schweinsteiger's apparently going to be shown the door. I still think it's really sad that he's tweeting stuff out and he's so supportive of the club. I hope it's not going to come back and bite us, a bit like Van Persie, where you let an experienced player who wants to stay go just because they're not part of the manager's plans. But, you know, you've got to trust the manager on that. And will anybody else go? I don't think so. Maybe Jones and Rojo are the most likely. I doubt we'll get rid of both, but Jones hasn't featured on the bench at all, and he is actually fit for the first time in his life. And Rojo has sort of been on the bench a little bit, but obviously not trusted. So I think we'll get rid of one. There was a good comment today saying let Phil Jones go to Hull and help out Mickey Phelan. I don't know, just let him go to Hull and never come back, as far as I'm concerned, but there you go. Gareth Sheriff saying Rojo and Jones equals sold. Yeah, well, you know, if we got rid of them both, what would feed in? Dave Lewis is saying that Mustafi is staying at Valencia, which is very interesting. I've sort of ignored the Mustafi thing because I expected him to finally go to Arsenal. I would welcome him at Manchester United. He is a decent centre-back, and I would welcome him. Victor Mendina saying, I just want to see Rashford get play time. What I'd say about the youth is that I sort of tweeted it out today. I can't see us using any youth this season around the first team. Whether you think that's bad or not, it's only going to give people, the haters, an opportunity to have a pop at Jose. But Rashford and Fosu Mensah are not his youth. They are Louis van Gaal's products. When Louis van Gaal's the right word, they are. He stumbled on Rashford. Fosu Mensah he actually bought. So they're Louis van Gaal's youth players. What I want to see Jose do over the next, if it's not this season, next season, is bring through some of his own youth, so he can say, these are Manchester United youth products, this is the Manchester United way, and these are the youth products I'm bringing through. Twansibi's probably top of the pile. He could have Pereira because Pereira's never been given a shot. There are others to come through. I think Twansibi's the only one who's probably really ready to do it at the moment. But maybe in the League Cup games, I don't know. Don't think Mourinho will bring any more players in this month, says Hated Adore MEFC. Thanks for that. Perfect timing. So, who do I think it's going to... We will sign another player before next Wednesday. I think it's... Well, Wednesday's the last day of August. I presume that is transfer deadline unless somebody tells me anything different. Sometimes it's a Monday, but I presume it will be next Wednesday. If I was a betting man, it comes down to 3 people. 2 of them are on the actual image for the video. One is Gabriel Barbosa. The other is Jose Fonte. As a third outsider, I'd say Fabinho. And what I want to just say as well, I've heard a lot of people mentioning Rafael Varane today coming to Manchester United. I tell you what, I'd love to get this wrong and I'd love him to sign for us, but I'll eat my shoes if he does. I know a lot of people are saying it. You can take it categorically from the United stand because we do hear things. Rafael Varane is not coming to Manchester United. Not this late in the transfer window. He'd be a marquee signing because he's a very, very good centre-back. He's committed himself to Real Madrid about 3 weeks ago and again recently to Zinedine Zidane. So he's not coming to Manchester United. That deal is not going to happen. So as much as I think it'd be a good signing, Rafael Varane will not be coming to Manchester United, which means it's slim pickings when it comes to centre-backs. It will probably be Jose Fonte. I'm not for it. I'm not happy about it. We talked about it on the Sunday night show. 1 Minute Videos is on about Barbosa. He thinks it might be that. Basil Red's not being very complimentary, liking him to a meat-based pate thing that you have with onions and gravy. Rhymes with maggot. But Barbosa has come out after winning the gold for the Olympics for Brazil, and he's basically said it's his dream to play for Barcelona with Neymar. I'm sorry, we're bigger than that now. We don't take players who come out with comments like that. I always thought it was quite unlikely anyway. I sort of hoped we'd get Irving Lozano from Mexico, but that's gone very, very cold. So I just don't think we will be doing that anyway. Nick Versi says, why do we need Fonte? Very, very good question. Fonte, as I said last night, is 4th choice for me behind Blind, Smalling and Bailly. He's not as good as those 3. And to bring Fonte in, why would he want to come to Manchester United to be our 4th choice centre-back? There's no long-term objective with Fonte. He's 33 in December. As I said before, he played the prime years of his career, 25 to 30. He was playing in the Championship with Southampton and Crystal Palace. He's a decent Premier League centre-back. Decent, is that what Manchester United need? He's not even the best centre-back at Southampton. Van Dijk's better than him. He's not first-team quality. If he's experienced backup, that's fine. But does he want to come to Manchester United and be experienced backup? And also, I think he can only give us a year. next season at the start of the season he's going to be 34 in that year. It's a very odd signing, but I think what it comes down to is sort of what I'd heard last week and what I mentioned on the video last week is that it's not Jose's first whatever. It's not his first choice. It's not his first choice centre back. He's sanctioned the Fonte deal because he can't get his first choice. And I suppose he wants to go into the season with centre backs he can trust. You know what? If Fonte's happy to be our fourth choice centre back, you know what? For a season, does it really matter? Is £8 million that much money? But I don't want him, and Martins Baumann doesn't want him. He's not better than Blind. He's not better than Bain. He's not better than Smalling, and that's a fact. So, and there's just no longevity in it. He's here for a very short period of time. It's a shame we never got anything done with like the likes of Manolas, because I think he would have been challenging all our centre backs to be playing. Fonte just doesn't do it to me, and I know maybe it's unfair to judge him on one game, but he was shocking on Friday night. He ended up in the net with the header against Zlatan. Martial absolutely burned him for pace, and I know he burns most people, but positional sense, he committed himself and looked stupid. Maldora one says give him a short-term contract. Jose Mourinho says if I had to sign a preferred centre-back, Godin is number one for me. The trouble is, it's going to be Godin, it's going to be Fonte or nothing now, isn't it? Because it's so late in the transfer market, and all the good players are sort of settled in. I think the signings you start making now, a surplus to requirement signings. Nobody's going to go and make a marquee signing of the summer now. That will be Pogba across world football. The big deals are done now. The deals that get done now are your peripheral players. It's like your Balassi going to Everton. Arsenal will scramble around and pay over the odds ridiculously, I'm sure. And Chelsea probably will. Make a signing or two, but the sort of signing we'd want to see, a top class centre back, I just can't see it. It will. I think if I'm a betting man, Jose's last signing revealed is Jose Fonte. It is not going to be a decent centre back, unfortunately. Or he might just stick with Jones and Rojo. Who knows? Mark, do you know what's happening with Pereira? Says we were talking about at the very start. He's Fulham was where he was going to go, but their data analyst geek said no, so he's not going there. I want him to get a Championship squad. I'd love him to go to somewhere like Leicester or Bournemouth or somewhere like that. He needs to be playing. I think he'd force himself into that team, those sort of teams as well. So I'd love him to go there. And, Leicester have got a lot of football to play. I'd love him to play in the Premier League. I think he's better than that. He's better than the Championship. Atletico Madrid players very hard to get. Because of the loyalty to Simeone. Fabinho's interesting. I think there's more. Fabinho could happen. I'm amazed. One thing I'm amazed of this summer is that we've not done any George Mendes clients. Like, he is Jose Mourinho's agent. He is the agent to many good players that could have come to us. Saul Niguez, Fabinho. There was a couple of others as well. Gomez, who obviously went to Barcelona. For us to have. I said it, I did a video at the start, this is going to open up so many opportunities in relation to him, but it's not materialised. Fabinho, probably the last chance of getting a George Mendes client this summer. 22 years of age, very fast, Brazilian. I think he made one defensive error in the whole of last season. So my issue with Valencia is he's a real asset at the moment with those dinky little crosses, because Zlatan will eat him up. But defensively, even against Southampton, his positional sense is very, very poor. I suppose it comes down to, nobody's right or nobody's wrong here. It depends what you want in a right back. For me, a right back first job is to be able to defend. That's why I like Darmian. Valencia is better attacking, so it's that contrast, isn't it? We won't be able to attack everybody. Against the likes of Bournemouth and Southampton, you'll get away with it, but against the likes of the better teams, Valencia's positional sense will get found out. So Fabinho sort of is the middle ground between a Darmian and a Valencia, because he can attack, but he's very, very good defensively. He's quick, he's young, there's a future in him. He's 22, so I would like that. Oliver Anthony says, where is your usual can of lukewarm beer? I don't normally drink that much on the United stand, watch alongs I do, but I haven't done for the last time. It's Alex, so there we go. Abuka says, what about Florenzi? Stephen McMorrow says Fabinho is one of the best all-round players around, in my opinion. What do you think about Borthwick Jackson going out on loan, Mark? Says Lanky Snake 942. We touched on that at the start very quickly. I think if he does well at Wolves, it'll do him. He's still very young, isn't he? I think he's 18, 19, so a year in the Championship It's a tough league. He'll do him really well. Come back next summer. If he's had a really good season for Wolves, who knows? But Luke Shaw's so young as well, isn't he? So he's always going to have a problem. But Borthwick Jackson looks so big to me. Maybe he can become a centre back, a left-sided one, which are at a premium. Who's Fonte's agent? Mark says Ching Hu Jae Hee. I don't know. Is it Mendes? I don't know. Answers on a postcard. I do not know. But yeah, I would like Fabinho. You know what? If I had to choose between Fonte and Fabinho, I would go Fabinho, because I think we can get by centre back wise. You know, Smalling, Bailey, Blind. Just keep one of Rojo and Jones. You've got Twan Seaby anyway, and then you've got Fabinho, who actually can play as a centre back. Darmian can play as a centre back. Is Darmian going to stay? I mean, that's the contrast, isn't it? We're talking about players coming in. I think Darmian will do really well to stay because he's not been part of the squad at all. Stephen McMorrow says Fabinho is normally playing in a 5 at the back as like a sort of wing back, which is good. LaRusso says we still need a world-class winger. I'm slightly disappointed about that, to be honest, because I did hope that we were going to sign a right-sided midfielder. We were linked to the likes of Adam Nunes from Bordeaux, even Draxler at one point, Lozano, like I said, Gabriel Jesus, and it looks like we're going to be sticking with the likes of Matters on the right midfield at the moment, which is scary. It's got to be Mkhitaryan, but you've got to think, well, what about what if Rooney fails? Like a lot of us think might happen. So it is interesting with United. As I said last night, I'm really, really happy with the start. I think we'll beat Hull on Saturday night. I can't wait for that. Then we go into the international break with 9 points, and we're all building towards City. It's a fantastic start to the season. But in all fairness, I think Hull, Southampton and Bournemouth, there's comfortably 10 teams better in the league than them three. So we've not really been tested yet. I think we'll stand up to that test because we've got the likes of Pogba and Zlatan, which are world-class players who are going to bring so much to the table that I think you can carry a number of players. But it's how many you want to carry, really. I think Mata on the right midfield is being carried. This isn't me taking a pop at Mata, by the way. Mata's a better number 10. Mata on the right midfield is being carried. I think Valencia at right back is being carried because of his positional sense defensively. It is a concern. I think Fellaini's being carried as a defensive midfielder. I don't think that's his best position. I think he's better as a number 10, and I think he's not quick enough and mobile enough to quell the opposition when they're coming at us in the final third. I think Blind, out of everybody, is the least, but I think he is sort of being carried because he's not big enough, and he will get done a few times a season. So, and obviously Rooney at number 10, I think we are definitely carrying him based on form. So we're carrying a good few positions, which over a season will cause us problems. I think you can always carry 1 or 2, but currently we might be carrying 4 or 5, and I think Jose will get it right in the end. I think the Qatarian's got to come in on the right-hand side, and then, you know what, if we're still carrying Rooney at 10, you've still got him surrounded by Martial, Mkhitaryan and Zlatan. And in the midfield, obviously Pogba owns box-to-box midfielder. Defensive midfielder, I really would like to see Schneidlin get some form because he's better than Fellaini as defensive midfielder, and he's proven that at Southampton. Fosu Mensah would be my ideal, but I just don't think Jose would trust him yet. Carrick's obviously a decent backup. Schweinsteiger's going, which is sad. And then if you sign Fabinho, you've got a right back. It's harsh on Valencia because he's done really well going forward, but I'd sleep easier having a right back who knows how to defend. Andrew Jackson, Mark, almost every other United. Yeah, I don't want to talk about others, but I agree with you, Andrew. Mad Marcus on the comments. Thanks very much, Marcus. Shout out for you. He's just saying Mark's not being negative. I'm never negative. There's always an opinion to what I'm saying, and you know, I'm more than happy to take what anybody else has got to say, which I'm looking at now. Okay, Lewis Smith always comes out with crackers. I mean, Lewis, your opinion would be a far better if you didn't stick up for players that were terminally crap last year. But being carried ? You're an idiot. What you need to do, Lewis, is a little lesson to you. If you're gonna come out with something opposite, if you could give us a little bit of a reason rather than abuse. Being carried means like you're playing players out of position, basically. If you give me your address, I'll write it down for you and explain it. But essentially what it comes down to is Rooney is playing very poor in number 10. Mata is not a right midfielder. Fellaini's not a defensive midfielder, Valencia's not a right back, and Daley Blind isn't really a centre back. So that's 5 players who, and I interpret that as being carried because they're not in the right positions or not in the right form. So if you can counter that and tell me that those 5 players are all playing in their right position and are all playing really well, then I apologise, but I think you might struggle with that one. Evil127, Fellaini is very good for cup games. Fellaini's part of the squad, he is part of the squad. I wouldn't start him, but that's down to me. Ewan MacGyver says I'm being negative. I mean, that is disappointing, but I won't respond to it. Louise says it well. He's not being negative, just sharing his opinion. Nobody could be more happy than me. I wanted Jose to be our manager, and I back him 100%. But I don't this is what I would say, and there's something I wanted to say anyway. Somebody was saying to me today, your opinion means nothing because you've never been a professional footballer. You don't know what you're on about. Well, Jose Mourinho's never been a professional footballer. So does Jimmy Bullard or Rio Ferdinand's opinion mean more than Jose Mourinho's? Of course it doesn't. Your opinion as a fan is as valuable as anybody's opinion. You don't have to have played the game or anything like that. The likes of Jose Mourinho have proven that. The way I do the United Stand, I've been doing it for a long time now, is that I say what I think and I give my opinion. And I'm no good at self-gratification, so I'm not that great at it when it comes to the team I support anyway. I always want better, and that's just my mentality. So you can think it's negativity, it isn't. It's just I want perfection. I want United holding up Champions Leagues. I want United holding up Premier Leagues. That's where I think Manchester United should be. So I'm ecstatic with the start of the season we've had. We'll win on Saturday. That'll be 9 points. If that's negativity, then I think you're getting on the wrong end of the stick. What I'm saying is I'm looking ahead, because you've always got to look ahead, and I do see bumps in the road ahead if this is our team. I don't think it will be our team. I think Mkhitaryan will come in. He's got to come in. I think we will sign either a centre-back or a right-back, and that will be the Valencia issue solved. You might want Valencia to be right-back. I'm not saying you're wrong. This is what I'm getting at. If it's my 11, I don't want Mata on the right midfield. I don't want Valencia at right-back. I don't want Fellaini at defensive midfield. And I probably would prefer Smalling as a centre-back with Bailly. But that doesn't mean I don't love Daley Blind. I think he's a fantastic utility squad and part of the squad, and I want him as part of it. That doesn't mean that Fellaini. I'd actually put Fellaini at number 10. That was his best ever position. That was the position he caused us so many problems at Everton. And I tell you what, I take Fellaini at number 10 any day of the week over Rooney at the moment. So I'm not saying drop Fellaini. What I'd like to do is get Schneiderlin at defensive midfield, Pogba box to box, Fellaini at number 10, Mkhitaryan out on the right, and that would be, for me, at the moment, our form team. Because Fellaini at number 10 could do a far better job than Rooney, because he actually can control the ball, which is what Rooney's struggling with, and he can do short passes. His limit is about 5 to 10 yards, but Rooney can only do 40 yards at the moment. So I think Fellaini as a number 10 would be better. So please don't, think what you like, but I'm not being negative. I'm looking at how I would improve it. TC Singh, Mark doesn't play with Jose doesn't play with conventional wingers though. Kante's so overrated, he's not technically gifted at all. We're talking about Clemente. Paul Sanchez says Valencia is not being carried. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I'm telling you he's being carried. That is my opinion. He's doing fantastically well going forward, but if you want to watch the Southampton game twice like I did, in fact, drop me an email, it's on the bottom, and I'll tell you the exact minutes why Valencia is being carried defensively, because I've got it written down anyway. The exact minutes in the game against Southampton where a decent side would have scored goals because him and Mata were out of position. It's not his fault. He's not a right back. He's not a right back. He's a decent right winger. He used to be one of the best in the Premier League, and he's putting brilliant crosses in at the moment. But if you had a private conversation with Jose, he would tell you, I'm playing Valencia at right back now because he offers us so much going forward. It's a handicap that I'm happy to play with defensively. He's not great defensively. Oh God, getting hot. Lynn Hall sticking up for. You know what? It's opinion. It's opinion. And to be honest, some of your comments are coming in, which is great. I love to share. As long as it's not stupid abuse, then I'll react to what your comments are, and that's what it should always be. I'm not here going, anybody who thinks Valencia's a decent right back is a complete plastic, because that's abuse, that's rude. I'm giving you my opinion. If you think the opposite, let's have a debate. That's what I enjoy about doing this. What's the latest on Lozano, says Joe Dar. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, mate. I would really have liked him. Hard working Mexican, I think he's 22, 23, really skillful. I'd love it to happen, but I'm not hearing anything about it happening. Valencia is quality. He needs a proper right winger in front of him, says John Cowhig. It's a fair comment. I'm not gonna come back on you, John, because I've already explained what the issue with Valencia is. We should go all out and offer world record fee for Real Madrid Varane. Yeah, well, it's not going to happen, unfortunately. Brazagi from Juventus, Mark. Widham 7. They wouldn't sell us a cold anymore. You and MacGyver, sorry, Mark, for disappointing you. You're not disappointing me. Nobody disappoints me. You're more than welcome to put your comments up there. I love doing these shows. I just tried to explain why it's not negativity. It is my opinion, and you will have a different one, and so you should. You know, the United Stand always is about trying to replicate being down the pub with your mates. I haven't got my beer at the moment, and I don't know whether you have yours, but that's what it's about. That's about having different opinion. And best mates disagree about football because I disagree with mine. So that's how it should be. Don't ever just agree with what I've got to say. But I think the most important thing I said there is do back your opinions. There's no need for abuse, but do back your opinions, because I get fed up of watching ex-professional footballers like Danny Murphy giving their idiotic opinion and being paid a lot of money to do it. And you sometimes you'll tweet something out and people will go, I think he knows more than you, Mark, because he's played professional football. There's one very simple answer. Manchester United's manager, the best manager in the world, fact, never played football. So does Danny Murphy know more than him? No, he doesn't. Does Danny Murphy know more than us? No, he doesn't. Not when it comes to Manchester United. He talks absolute nonsense. So back your opinions, because your opinion, you know, I'd argue with Rio Ferdinand, I'd argue with Danny Murphy, I'd argue with Gary Lineker, not because I dislike them, I don't, but because I don't think their opinion means any more than ours, and that's where I stand on that. And we are about fan opinion anyway. Lorenzo, you're spot on. So even if I disagree with you, I still appreciate what your comment is. Actually, that feeds into the breaking news bit there that's quite good, which I'd forgotten I'd twisted it, so it's going along there very at the bottom. We're always looking for new people to get involved in the United Stand, and it's very time consuming to say send us a couple of minutes video in and we'll have a look at it, because, you know, to be honest, anybody can record a video and be good or bad. But a lot of you have said, why don't you just do, like, you know, go around the country doing little chats? That's not going to happen. Nobody turn up. But what somebody did suggest is, why don't you do like a private Google Hangout? You can invite like 10 people into it, do it for an hour. Everyone's got a question. You have a bit of a debate in there. I mean, something like tonight would be absolutely perfect to jump into something like that. So we are going to do it. I think the next one, I've forgotten the date. It did just flash up there. September. It's the Monday after the. It's the middle Monday of the international break, so not a lot's going on. If you want to be a part of it, you can book your ticket, first come, first serve. If we get more than 10, then we will do more of them. I think it's to soccerboxtv@gmail.com, so get another browser up there, get it emailed there if you're interested in it, and we'll speak to you about that in the next couple of days. But that's booked in for 2 weeks tonight. Yeah, 2 weeks tonight, so that'll be the very first one. If it's successful or not, it will be me, a United Stand panellist, and probably another 10 of you lot in there. And what happens in the Google Hangout, if you've never seen it before on the show that we used to do, we're all in it. You can see the little pictures and that, and we'll have a United chat. So I'd love to pick up on some of this. It's September the 5th, Stephen McMorrow. So get the email to soccerboxtv@gmail.com, and if you're interested in that, be very good. And you never know, if somebody stands out as being really, really good, you might get invited onto the panel. So we're going to use it as that sort of thing as well. So we get something as well. Sunny says, love your videos. Who would you want to sign if you could pick anybody? Who's presenting on it, Mark? If you're talking about the Hangout thing, it won't be going out live. It's a private Q&A thing for the 10 people. It won't be live on the show. So probably didn't explain that very well. No, it's a private sort of chat room. There'll be me, United Stand panellist, and 10 of you, and we'll all have a chat. You'll all get a question each and that. So it won't be going out on the video. It won't be going out on the channel. Who would I sign if I could sign anybody? Well, I'm always quite realistic, so I'd love Lozano because he's a right midfielder. I'd love us to get another Mexican. I loved having Hernandez. And from who we're linked with at the moment, I think I would go for Fabinho. I think I'd love to have a right back who can defend. I'd feel far happier if we had a right back who can defend, but that's mine. We've done Cameron, Borthwick, Jackson, Kwame. If you've joined us a bit late, we've covered Pereira, Borthwick, Jackson at the start. Don't want to go over old ground. West Brom, I tell you what, that would be the signing of the summer, Maldora 1. If West Brom sell Johnny Evans to Arsenal for 25 million, I'm going to laugh. I thought Welbeck was funny enough, but if they sign Johnny Evans, a player we were ecstatic to get rid of, and I like Johnny Evans, it's never personal. If somebody's not good, I always say my milkman's a really nice bloke, but I'd slag him off if he played for Man United because he'd be crap. So Johnny Evans seems like a decent bloke, but crap for United. If he goes to Arsenal, it will be absolutely ecstatic. So funny, but there we go. Any news on the FIFA tournament, says Mad Marcus. I don't know when FIFA 17 gets released, if anybody knows. I'll hang around for a couple of minutes just to go through that. We will be doing FIFA 17, and it will be run through a reward on our Patreon page, and we're probably going to run some sort of FIFA 17 league that you can get involved in. There will be entry into it because we'll only do it with a certain number of people, but it will be on Xbox and it will be on PS4. I'll be on the PS4 one because that's what I've got. There's a couple of lads like Dan, I think Rix and maybe Alex who are on Xbox, so you'll all be serviced. That will happen. I just don't know when. It's September the 28th, says MR7. A lot of work, September 29th, says Red Devil Thomas. So we will hit the ground running with FIFA 17 stuff, and we will sort something out for that. So if you want to get involved in that, keep your eye out. Lots of stuff going on in the international break around the United stand, trying to get some new stuff sorted out. Unfortunately, it won't be Pro Evo, it will be FIFA. Can I do a career mode? There's lots of discussion going on about FIFA 17. For me personally, it's always about time. Thursday night we will be back. Well, we're back on Wednesday night with the live preview show, obviously with all the interaction stuff, things like this, where I was talking to you and saying this is my lineup for the team I would like to see against Hull, but that was Southampton. So we'll be back with Wednesday night at 8:30 with that. Thursday night at 8:30 is the Premier League prediction show and real analysis on the Fantasy Premier League, which is so competitive. You can join it, even if it's 2 or 3 weeks into the season. You can join the Fantasy Premier League team league for the United stand. It is ridiculously competitive, but there's going to be some great prizes to give out. And also this Thursday, we've got a new element to it, which is going to be really good if you like a bit of betting and stuff like that, or playing games against each other. That comes in on Thursday, so don't miss that. So we've got loads going on for the United stand, absolutely loads. The little ticker below, if you want to do the little private hangout, get the email in and book yourself on that. Thursday night, FIFA 17 long in the future. And finally, if you've hung on this long, the United stand story. We're going to wait until we hit 50,000 subscribers, but you know what? We thought, after Hull, there's 2 weeks of boredom waiting for the Man City game. We're going to do the United stand story in the international break. It's going to be done over a few nights, different sections. It's a long story, the good, the bad and the ugly. We'll have cameos from past guests and all sorts. It's going to be really good, and I know a lot of people want to see it. Some of you couldn't give a shit, let's be honest, but it's something to fill the international breaks. That'll be over a series of nights for you to watch. We're setting that up. So there's loads going on with the United stand, and the clothing is going to happen. That is moving very, very fast. This is old style. As you can see in the top left corner, that's the new style United stand badge. This is the old one. I've got a red one with United stand on there. I like this on the t-shirts. Which ones do you prefer? Do we do both? So there you go. But some people mentioning names. In relation to others, I will just call it others. They don't exist to me anymore. It's the easiest way to run a United stand fan channel. They don't exist. So you can mention names, you can mention other outlets. They don't exist. I'm happy. The United stand's happy. You're all fantastic. We do our own thing. First never follows, and they just don't exist. They never get mentioned. So thanks everybody for watching. Loving the start to the season. Loved tonight. Loved the interaction. Don't feel bad if you thought you'd upset me. You didn't. I love to interact with people, and it's all tongue in cheek. And I love talking about transfers. It's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. But it's Monday night transfer show, as you know. And I shall speak to you all very soon. Lewis Batchelor says get Rich back on. We will get Rich on. You've already ruined one of the surprise cameos, and people don't know who he is. But yeah, I can't wait to do the United stand story. It's going to be really interesting. But loads going off. There's so much going off at the moment in relation to United stand, and it's all about trying to get you lot involved. I can't wait for FIFA 17. I can't wait for the Thursday night Fantasy Premier League game we've got for you. Just keep getting involved and enjoying it, sharing it, liking the videos. And I just want to say again, this is a Droity Devil studio. We're changing up the studios for the season. Massive comments box there. I love it. Brilliant. So massive shout out for him as well. I'm not upset, Jesse, don't worry. And for anybody who hasn't subscribed to United Stand extra time because you can't because of your country, we're looking into that. It's a shame. We've spoken to YouTube. There's certain countries like Jamaica, Malaysia who just can't subscribe to it. I know it's a couple of quid a month and some people don't want to subscribe to it, but we're doing, I put my vlog up there on a Wednesday, which is, recording off my phone, and we do the after show where we say what we bloody well like we did last night after the Sunday show. So do get involved in that. The link's in the video description. Loads to get involved in, and we are trying to get other countries because I know some people do as well. But thanks to everybody. I've rambled on. Dave Rollo says stick out your tongue. I've got a very, very big tongue, so if there's any ladies out there, don't get excited, but watch this. Got a big tongue. Cheers. Speak to you all tomorrow. There's a very interesting video coming up tomorrow. All I'll say is the United Stand hacker, and I will be back on Wednesday night at 8:30 with a live preview, but there is a video going up tomorrow. See you all later. Mark does wear Lacoste. I love Lacoste.